A disability is defined as lack of adequate power, strength, physical or mental ability, incapacity. Simply put, it's unable to do something. I was born with a birth injury called brachial plexus. It's a nerve damage in the spine that limits movement in the arm. For me, it was in the shoulder, and I tried to use notes this time.
You tried.
I did, yeah. But it was in the shoulder, and so it prevented movement in my arm for the first 6 months that I was born. So from when I was 3 months old, I was in physical therapy, and I did that until I was about 10 years old. I'm not exactly sure when I stopped, but I was doing it for a while, so it's just hard to keep track of dates. During that time, I had 4 surgeries on my arm. The 2 main ones were a triangle tilt and a forearm osteotomy. I'm not entirely clear on what I did for the triangle tilt surgery, but that was the first large one, and I had my arm in a splint held out like this for I think it was 6 weeks. And then the forearm osteotomy is when they go into your forearm and they break the bone, and then they twist it and they put a titanium pin in it to hold it in place so that your arm will kind of grow back in a different position. So during that time, I also had, I guess it would be sleep therapy that I had to do. And I wore like a brace at night, and it would hold my arm out so that my body would just get used to holding it a certain way to try and improve your range of motion. But even after all of that, I still have a limited range of motion. I can't really move my arm to the side, or going up is kind of hard without leaning back, so that makes things challenging during the musical when I have to. But I make it work. So because of all that, I like to think that I know a few things about disabilities. Now, being unable to do something like a disability isn't going to necessarily help someone. In fact, just because you don't have a leg or you can't move, it's not going to change anything or make it better or even force you to grow. Some people think it will, but in fact, it doesn't create growth, it just provides an opportunity for a person to grow. When muscles grow, it's from being rebuilt after lactic acid breaks them down. It's not because they've been broken down, but in how they respond to being broken down. In the body, though, that's a natural response, and it will always happen. For people, there's a choice. You can grow or you can not grow. If someone were to lose a leg, they could sit on a couch for the rest of their life and just not do anything. Or they could learn to live with it and go through physical therapy and just do whatever they need to try and make their life as normal as possible. The argument could be made that disabilities force adaptation, and that in all people it will lead to growth and benefit. But because of the fact that there's a choice, I believe that it's the hard work that a person can choose to put into something that will, in the end, lead to potential growth and life change. Richie Parker is a great example of this, as he is a man who was born without both arms, and he's able to go through his life in a very normal fashion. He has a full-time job, he still can drive, and he lives on his own because of all these things that his family and he were able to invent. He's an engineer, and his car is built so that there's a wheel on the floor that he can turn with his feet so that he can drive normally. In conclusion, with this in mind, I would argue disabilities do not guarantee growth, but do provide an opportunity for it.
Okay.